Do you celebrate death?
No, in my mindset, this world is backwards.
Correct.
And
It is.
they celebrate death. Now, when I say celebrate death, I'm not talking about in a biblical sense of that person's passed on and going to heaven.
Correct.
That's not the idea of what I'm saying. That part of it, I'm not even touching.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think the thing goes awry at, and this isn't just some new phenomena. It's a thing that was learned well before the modern era of memory and just carried on to where you only remember a person when they've passed away because that's your only memory of that person.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 times out of 10, you weren't alive when they were born, especially in the realm of parents and uncles and grandmas and things of that nature. So people
Mm-hmm.
hold on to the day that you died. And if that death was tragic in some kind of way, or if it was a long, hard death, road to getting there in some kind of way, to me, always holding on to the day they died, you're always holding on to the pain of how they died
Mm-hmm.
versus reversing it and celebrating their life by celebrating the day they were born, right? Well, a person can say, well, a person may have had a tragic life and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. But again, they had a life. And if they were a person of significance to you, then you're celebrating their life by celebrating the day they were born,
Mm-hmm.
not the day that they passed away. And I think too many times we do things just out of habit of what's been shown to us, and
Mm-hmm.
all of those things are not correct.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with funerals and all the fanfare of funerals. There's nothing wrong with celebrating the life of a person um, by having a ceremony, but I think that a lot of these ceremonies turn into people worship. And I get it. A lot of these things come from biblical times of people worship.
Mm-hmm.
And so these ceremonies and these things become ceremonious like this, and it carries on. And so I have a problem with that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't knock anybody for their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to put consciousness into what I'm doing and and thinking of, is that the thing that's right for me, irregardless of what the culture thinks? Because I do a lot of things despite what the culture has taught or teaches, because I think it's stupid. But that's
Mm-hmm.
just me. I'm willing to stand out and be the black sheep of it. And I'm not doing it just to stick it to the machine or stick it to them or I showed them. That's not even my case.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is a conscious thing. Something doesn't make sense, I'm gonna stop doing it. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
is free will to do what they want to do. So the celebration of death is not something I do, and not something I participate in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Funerals, yes, I have gone to funerals. I've been part of funerals and this, that, and the other. But from here on out, I'm not going to nobody else's funeral. I'll remember you how I want to remember you. I don't want to remember you by looking at you in a casket. You know, I
I
want to
understand
remember
that.
you from my memories of good memories of you in your life, and celebrating that within myself. So that's my thing. But again, for everybody, if that's what you do, that's what you do, and I respect that. It's just not
Hmm.
what I do. It's not my thing.
Right. Well, like you say, by me being raised in the church, a lot of times when we have the funeral, it is a celebration of the life they live. Like you say, for them to um when you think about it, when the church have funerals, sometimes they have some of them say the celebration of life and some of them say a homegoing.
Hmm.
So, you know, when I think about it now, the homegoing is like, okay, is it a real big difference between homegoing or celebrating their life? I would
No.
prefer to celebrate their life because of the life they live. They live this example that they've done a lot for people. They've showed you an example of how you should live in the Bible sense or in the way
Hmm.
of Christ. For some people, like I could say for my family, we had two significant people that passed away,
Hmm.
but the sad part is they passed away on birthdays. One was on my
Mm.
brother's birthday and one was on
Hmm.
my niece's birthday. So it's
Hmm.
like it's kind of hard to it's
It's
like
reoccurring. Yeah, it's
yeah,
always going
it's
to be
hard to
reoccurring.
forget it because yeah, and it's like you can't really not that you really forget or not that we even celebrate it, but it's like we still have that person here to celebrate. It's like it does it cross your mind on their birthday? It's like, oh yeah, like for example, for my brother, we lost my grandma. She was the pillar of the family.
All right.
And it's like you'll never forget, like, oh man, because we was all gearing to celebrate him for his birthday and
Hmm.
tragic hit. And it's like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
is it the same? No, his birthday is not the same because you still got a happy occasion. Do we still celebrate them? Yeah, we do because
Right.
we may have that moment of, hey, we lost grandma this, but now we just sit. If we do gather for his birthday, we more or less talk about the memories of her instead of saying,
Yeah.
well, grandma died
Yeah.
on your birthday.
Yeah.
We'll sit and talk about, you remember grandma did this to you and you remember grandma did this, and it's like, yeah, and so we end up having a good time with the memories of instead of the passing of her on his birthday. It's
Right.
more or less like the memories of the good times we had with her. So I
And
can,
that's taking lemons and making lemonade, you know. Uh,
yes, yes,
and absolutely nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Um,
yeah,
but that for and if people are going to use it like that,
mm-hmm,
cool, you know,
yeah,
that's cool. A lot of times what I've come across is people use it and they can't get over.
yeah,
They
yeah,
can't move forward. They
yeah,
can't they Big Mama died on this day. And their whole day is tragic, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
or it was a significant other, and oh, this is the day that my husband or boyfriend died, and and so when that day is coming up, and everything is tragic.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? To
yeah,
me, when it's used in that form, that's the part that I'm like, no, you shouldn't be associating it, because here's the thing. if you're going to use it in that form, you're never going to move forward.
Yeah.
So even in the new relationship, when that day comes, now I got to deal with this.
Yeah. And I still look at it like it's nothing wrong with remembering the date, but like I feel is if you're gonna remember the date, still just dwell on the happy times of
Sure,
that. Not that, it's like, oh,
sure,
you died this day. It's like, okay,
sure,
yeah, it'll hit you that day, but then it's like you still in grief, everybody grieves different, everybody grieves for their own amount of time. And it's like, does it ever go away? It doesn't go away, but you learn to live with it. You can,
sure.
and that's where you say moving on. It's
Hmm.
like, okay, it happened, and it's like within the first 6 months or a year, yeah, it's gonna hit you. You're gonna be like,
Sure,
okay, I'm picking up the pieces. I'm moving forward. I gotta move forward because, like, I'm gonna go back to this because my grandma was that was my rock. That was my
sure.
girl. And when she first passed away, I could, it's like, because with her, I talked to her, I call her, I spent so much time with her. It was like clockwork. Her phone could ring at 9 o'clock. My phone could ring at 9 o'clock. We know it was one of us calling each other. I mean, every day, like clockwork. 9 o'clock, we were on the phone. But it's like, it got to the point to where I started remembering grandma would was not a sad person. She was always full of life, even up until she passed away. Well, maybe not the week of, but up until she got sick, she was
Hmm.
full of life. She always was, what can we do? She didn't never want anybody moping around. So it's like, would she want me sitting here on the day she passed away or sitting here all down in the dumps crying that, oh, she gone? Okay, no, she left me with some wisdom to use for life. Take that wisdom and keep moving forward. Each year it got better. Do I still, like I said, do I still remember? Yeah, I can't forget because it was on my brother's birthday. But do I dwell on the fact? No, I don't. Like, man,
Right.
oh, I miss grandma and keep on moving. But that can come at any random day. It's just not always even on the day that she passed away. It's
Sure.
just going through life, doing different things. Like right now, experiencing the relationship with you. I would love to share that with her right now, but she's not here. So I'm like, as long as she know I'm happy, she would be happy because I know I'm happy. So it's like that's how I look at it.
Right. And that's using it in a positive sense in the way that you're supposed to, you know, a lot of people don't don't move forward, and they're always stuck in victimizing themselves with
Mm-hmm.
that, so therefore they never get the chance to move forward in that sense. And you always have to move forward,
You
irregardless
do.
of whatever. And I tend to don't put date markers on bad things that happen. You
Correct.
know, that's just a personal thing that I couldn't tell you the day, date, or time or year my mother and father passed. Can't tell
Mm-hmm.
you. You know, it's not even registering with me like that because
Mm-hmm.
you gotta move on.
Mm-hmm.
And but I can tell you the birthdays. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I can tell you the birthdays. My mom had two of them, so she.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did she have two birthdays?
Oh, well, it's the thing of when she came north. Um, she was young, so her auntie changed her date of birth so that she could work.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
all while she was working, she had this date of birth. So fast forward to where she retired, right? And Social Security and all that stuff, it was this date of birth.
Okay. Okay.
So there was a period there were two birthdays that we were using. Uh, and we had to get that straightened out with Social Security and whatnot. But that's one of those stories. She had two
That's
birthdays.
what we should celebrate their life more or less, the good memories
Hmm.
of their life instead of celebrating when they die. Just let's celebrate the people as good people
Right.
that they were.
Not the
So
tragicness of how they died or where they died or things of the circumstances surrounding how they died and whatnot. And especially when you get things that involve court and tragedy and things of that, lawsuits and stuff like that, it's
yeah,
always swirling around with that death. So, it becomes hard to move on for some people, you know.
yeah. And as we know it's hard to like when, like you say, when someone or even a young person is tragically removed from Earth. Uh, you still want to just celebrate the good times and not the tragedy of what happened. Is it hard? Is you gonna ever forget? No, you'll never forget. But if you know that person was full of life, celebrate the happiness, the love that you shared with them instead of the bad part.
Yeah,
Is just my
yeah.
opinion.